Hello virtual pilots, I'm Andre Celesti and welcome to another edition of our HIP Talk Show, where we pick a subject and bring important members of our community to discuss it. You can join us too, more information in the video description on how to do that. And today's guest on our show is Flying Cyking, a DCS campaign creator that went through all the hoops and climbs and now has an upcoming official campaign for the UI called Peacekeeper Lebanon. In this story-driven campaign, you will take the role of a UN pilot in Lebanon. The time frame is set for the year of 2006. It's a project that is close to us here at How I Play, as it will be one of the first campaigns for DCS World where you will encounter my voice. As you see, I've been in touch with Cyking since 2022. And here we are today, having him on our talk show and getting to present to you, our viewers, his amazing campaign. So, dear Cyking, welcome to the HIP Talk Show.
Thank you very much, and thank you for having me here and supporting the project.
How is the development progressing with the campaign?
So far, the development of the campaign is completed now, and 1.5 months now ago I sent it to ED, and hopefully it will be released soon.
How much time have you spent until so far on this project?
Short answer, too much. I think in total it's about 1.5 to 2 years now. And honestly, it's way longer than I have expected. But yeah, there was some development breaks before signing the contract with ED. For example, I had to create a trial version, send it to ED, wait for approval. That took a while, a couple of months. Yeah, after that I started the work, and you get a lot of challenges, and it took longer than expected, especially the testing phase. But I'm finally done and super excited for the release.
What inspired you to do this type of campaign for DCS World?
When I first had the idea to bring an official campaign, I had different ideas. I want to go for the F-16 or a World War II scenario. But one of my main challenges was I was alone. So I had my idea in mind, and what you need for a good campaign are voice actors and people who bring the world alive. And so I started looking for voiceovers, and the first ones I found are in my virtual squadron I'm flying regularly. And most of us are German speakers, and it's nearly impossible to delete our accent. You know, we all have a pretty hard German accent in our English. And so I was looking for a scenario where I can take German pilots or German actors, and which suits to the maps and modules I have in DCS. And this finally leads me to the UNIFIL deployment in the Lebanon. And I started to research on that and started building a fictional scenario on it, which is based on real events. So that was the way how I came to this campaign.
How long do you fly in DCS?
About 8 years now, I think, and still every day, so quite a DCS heavy user.
You mentioned a squadron that you fly.
It's a virtual Jagdbombergeschwader 32, so it's a German squadron and established since, I think, the lock-on times. So really old. They were in the beginning doing a lot of PvP, and nowadays really try to do it in a very realistic way. I really enjoyed flying there 2 times a week.
And what do you mostly fly? What module do you use?
The F-16 I'm using. I'm in the F-16. In our squadron, we have A-10, F-18, and the Apache helicopter. And just started the F-15 now as well.
Any aviation background in the family? Can you share anything with our viewers?
Really nothing.
So basically,
I'm just... Yeah, since I was a small boy, I'm really into the aviation stuff. Starting on the Commodore 64 with the third flight sims, and did some internship at the German Luftwaffe, and just was into military aviation.
Now let's focus on the campaign. Tell us more about it, and what did you prepare for us?
To bring it in one sentence, it's kind of a small buddy adventure of 2 guys experiencing the enjoyment of flying a UI in a nice environment. You cannot expect the high, super realistic campaign. It's more like a 90s adventure buddy movie. You know, 2 guys experiencing some adventure, and unfolding a tension story. It's not like super realistic. I try to have it like a movie. You are driven to a nice story and get entertained during your flights. That's how I like to have a campaign. I'm not into having like 2-hour flights of super realistic processes. I like a bit more the gaming aspect of a simulator. I try to have a fluent game experience. It would be nice if you read the briefing, but you don't need to read the briefing. The mission carries you through. You get your hints, what you need to do. So it's a bit more for people who's starting with DCS and not get overwhelmed by all the processes and all the realistic procedures you need to do for a takeoff. You can check the checklist for half an hour or just push the magic buttons to start your helicopter. So it's for everyone.
That is great. So then tell me, why did you choose the Huey, for example?
As I mentioned earlier, when I started looking what I can build and what scenario suits to the resources I have, like the voice actors, the Germans are not so much involved in all the crises in the world in the last recent years. And so the only thing I found was the UNIFIL deployment, where I have a module which we have in DCS. And so I came up with this one. And the Huey is the only helicopter I really was able to sit in or fly in as a passenger. So I had kind of a personal connection to it.
So you have a real-life experience in the Huey. That's great. Please tell me, how many missions we can expect in this campaign?
So it's about, depending on which route you take, so you have a couple of choices where you can choose between which mission you want to continue. 12 to 13, including 3 cutscenes. I will tease a little bit. You have a love story inside, so you can as I said, like a Hollywood movie,
Correct,
you lead the love
Top Gun.
exactly. And so you can do some choices. So, and depending on which choice you have taken, you get a specific mission.
Any action inside of the campaign? We can expect some weapon deployments?
Yes, of course, you get some weapon deployment, but it's not the main part of the mission. So I think 1/3 of the missions is with weapon deployment. In the end, it's the Huey,
Yeah.
Combat doing with the Huey is kind of not awkward. It's difficult, You got your unguided rocket, your minigun, that's fun. But doing 10 missions with unguided rockets and miniguns could be kind of boring. But you are being part of big operations, watching airstrikes, joining some Israeli Apaches in an engagement, and so you are part of combat operations.
Any plans for future projects after this campaign gets out?
Yeah, I'm already doing some research for my next project and also kind of hyped to work on something new. Because it's also something new for me. I'm flying the helicopter now for 2 years, nearly every day. So I'm really looking forward to do something new. But I'm also planning already a major update on the campaign. So we want to do some reworks on some voiceovers and some minor tweaks and twerks to optimize things. But yeah, that will come with the first update after release.
Let me know, are all voices real actors, like real people?
Yes.
Okay.
Only there's one voice line is done by the AI. It's one voice line, a minor one. That's the only one. But all the other ones are real voice actors. And I also we have a terrorist in my story, and this is spoken by a guy from the Lebanon. And also the Israeli voiceovers are spoken in Hebron partially. So that's quite nice. So you get a nice immersion.
Well, it's nice to hear you provided an immersive experience with all these voices. But I do hope your friend is not actually a real terrorist.
No.
You never know.
No, he was from Sweden, so he living in Sweden was a Lebanese voice actor.
I'm just kidding here, it's okay. Please tell me, do you fly only in DCS or you use other sims?
Sim-wise, only DCS. I tried Microsoft Flight Simulator, but it doesn't feel right for me, and it's kind of boring after a while. It's nice to have a look, fly around your house and look for your house, make some sightseeing. But in the end, I'm also into the weapons deployment.
Since we already mentioned that I'm part of your campaign with my voiceover for the radio host, how did you come up with this idea?
Yeah, there was two approaches on that. On one thing, I want kind of a storytelling element, something that you don't just read the briefing to follow the story. I want something to summarize the happenings and give some background about the story, what's happening in the country, what's the situation. And news are always a great way to do that, I think. On the other hand, flying from point 1 to point B can be quite boring from time to time. And so I want to give the player an opportunity to listen to some music and giving him the radio channel to have some entertainment during his transfer times.
Is your campaign tailored for beginners or more advanced users with the Huey in DCS World?
Both, maybe. Some of the taskings are quite easy, so it's fly from point 1 to point B, but sometimes flying to point B can be quite challenging because the LZ is maybe quite tight, it's a moving ship or something. But in general, it's, I think, also beginners friendly. Yeah, I think it's beginners friendly. And maybe some of the ones who are super mastering it's maybe too easy for them. But I think it's, in general, it's open for everyone.
Now I must ask you a question as a Reflected Simulations customer who got to try most of his campaigns. Are there any weird heavy weather missions in the Huey in your campaign?
Yeah, there will. I'm afraid there will be one mission where the people will hate me.
Yeah.
Even the testers, when I sent them the mission, they were really.
Oh boy.
But let me tease one thing. There's at this specific mission, I give you a checkpoint. When you reach the checkpoint and after that you fail the mission, you can load the mission and try it again without flying all the way to the specific point.
Thank you. Bless you. There you go. And so we are getting close to the ending of our show. If you have any other remarks that you would like to say about the campaign.
Just a big shout out to you and thank you for your support. And I also would like to thank all the other third-party campaign developers, giving me a lot of advices and tips, and thank you for their help as well.
Well, from all of us here at How I Play, thank you for doing what you do and sharing your passion for DCS World in such a beautiful way, giving back to the community more content in shape of a new campaign for the Huey. The Peacekeeper Lebanon campaign should be released with the next major update for DCS World, and it will retail for $12.99. Links are in the video description. And so, we end another edition of our Hip Talk show. As always, this type of content is first available for our Patreon users and special members, and gets published for everyone on our YouTube channel later. If you want to receive more exclusive content like our Hip Talk show, join up and support our channel. More information in the video description. Thank you all for watching. Remember to leave us a like if you find the video informative and subscribe to keep in touch with all the latest news on your favorite simulators and games. I am Andre Celesti, reminding you to fly safe, and I'll see you next time.